Well, you can see the developing story.
Of course.
And a lot is still happening. It's a running story, and it will run until the situation dies down, until the dust is settled. And how does the dust settle? When all the litigations, attendant litigations, have been unraveled. We've had litigations from courts of coordinate jurisdictions, the Federal High Court, and then recently His Lordship, Justice Dana Gogo of the State High Court, also came with an order that made it possible for the 5-member House of Assembly, presided by ADC here, to stay and pass the state budget, to pass an 800 billion naira budget, which was passed. And of course, we saw that that budget has some promises. Some road construction, the highlights of that budget include the construction of Elele to Omoku Road and Trans-Calabari Highway and more. And it was called the budget of renewed hope and consolidation and what have you. So, but the stories that we have read now have a lot of implications. One, Martin Hulesti sat and came up with some issues bordering on parliamentary proceedings, reading of some bills, local government, and all that. And the matters arising there from many media professionals is who will sign the bill after it has been approved. Is this speculating there will be a victory at the judiciary that will warrant a court mandating the governor to sign the bill? A lot of commentaries have been raised about the legality of that group, that 26-man group. One person dropped to join. Adoki denied ever reversing his defection. Now, a lot of commentaries are going on the legitimacy and legality of that body. For example, we're talking about, a lot of people are talking about the fact that they had defected and Section 109 of the Constitution says you cannot. But there are other contending issues with respect to the reasons why you can defect. Even then, they say some of their reasons are not substantial enough and all that. These are some of the what I'll call the albatross hanging on the neck of the 27 or 26 parliamentarians. That's one side of the story. I'm sure you're going to give an insight on that. The second side of the story is the resignation of the Commissioner of Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice. A lot of people saw it coming because I'm sure he will be very restive with a lot of legal quagmire, concerning the entire process. I'm sure he will not be very much at home with all those issues. That is one. And then one more commissioner resigned. I will get the details later. And there's speculation that there's possibility a lot of commissioners may resign. People are even speculating that House of Assembly men may even defect if this defection succeeds. 27-man defection. Mm-hmm. The third angle to that story is the fact that the minister is saying, no. You have to exonerate the federal government from the crisis in Rivers State. After we have crisis in Ondo State, federal government served as a troubleshooter in that crisis, and today the dust has settled. There's an acting governor. I'm possibly saying that because of that goodwill, it is not possible that federal government will go out of its way to incite a crisis in Rivers State. After all, what will they gain? Rivers State, as it were, supported them. I'm just adding that. So these are the three angles to the story that we have just seen, which we describe in our headline as developing stories in the crisis situation in Rivers State. Can you drop your salvo on this? I'm sure you're delectable enough to do justice to this.
Interesting times, actually, times. And as you were, dissecting these issues, in my head, I was like, what a time to be a journalist in Rivers State.
Yes.
And I'm glad I have this platform to say things as they are, yes, regardless of who feels bad or who feels good. The media, this is our job to say the truth and to also educate the public. First of all, let me address the issue of Martin Simikle. It is not a surprise. What he did is actually what I would have been surprised if they were silent after, the passing of the budget by the 5-man committee. I would have been very, very worried if they if they are silent. But first of all, you talked about the legitimacy of the 27 men defectors, if I may call them that. Are they actually 27? Okay, one person
26
has
dropped.
Are they actually 26? I think we should actually look at the veracity of that number, because among that list, one person is dead.
Okay.
And has been buried. The burial was just, the person was recently buried.
Okay, go ahead.
Nobody is talking about that. And in the list of the defected persons, he's still an active person. Meanwhile, he has been buried.
Okay.
I mean, they are playing politics of numbers, but then they will have to be held accountable. I think at this point, we should even actually know the exact persons that have defected. That's on one hand. Then on the other hand, coming out with the drama of the bills and all that, pending when a court of competent jurisdiction passes a law or passes a verdict to actually tell Martin Samehule and his camp that they can operate legally as House of Assembly people, I do not think whatever it is they are doing will work. In the first place, right now, as it stands, Edison Ehe is recognized the speaker. Edison Ehe presided over that appropriation bill with the mace. So with what was the locus standi for Martin Samehule to come out and...
They are relying on another court verdict, another court decision, the Federal High Court in Abuja, that recognized them as legitimate. And that was the status quo that court, right? So there's a serious problem.
Now they have defected.
Like I said yesterday, yes, the defection seems to have nullified.
It happened after that verdict.
Yes, the defection seems to have
nullified the verdict of the court.
Exactly, as it were seems.
Yes.
The courts will decide.
Of course.
Now, the one thing that stands out on this matter, well, I didn't add the fact that they held their session at the auditorium of the assembly quarters. That's where they held their session. And of course, they condemned the demolition of the assembly. All right, now, which of course yesterday...
We had the 5 men, we had the other 5 members, we had the present.
No, the other 5 members sat in government.
No, I mean this meeting or this sitting, in quote, held by Martin Samehule's...
We've already said it's a faction, so why are we talking about
now, that? Now, that's where the legality comes in.
No, we've talked... we questioned the legality. We said there's a serious legal problem, about
so who will sign the bill?
And that was the question we asked. And now what I'm saying is that the fact is that, like we said yesterday, and almost every journalist in all the trending news, all the trending commentaries in the country, point to the fact that sitting in the House of Assembly, in the government house, of 5 legislators stands.
Of course.
And there's legality, serious legality of the passage of that bill, which the governor has signed into law. The question now came up among lawyers, because I listened to legal opinions. And somebody said, what happens if the court reverses all this trend? The answer some of the lawyers gave was that it will still stand. Some of that budget will stand. All the deliberations carried out by these people until there's a reversal of that ruling stand. Because when Umeha was removed as governor, all decisions stood.
It was valid.
Became valid. So there's no doubt about the legitimacy
of Edison
Ehe's sitting and the actions therefrom.
Of course.
And then the signing of that bill.